I don't want to just to hate Daniel Lewa, and I don't really like making negative videos, but I want this to come more out of a place of Optimus Prime rather than Megatron. They both wanted change, but they just had different means of achieving it. Let's try to think Optimus like Optimus Prime while still providing a little bit of criticism to LEGO Marvel minifigures, because frankly, with the announcement of the X Mansion, it's been a catalyst in my mind for the quality and state of some of our most beloved characters in LEGO form. Marvel fans love their superheroes and villain characters, right? That's what it's about. In comic books, it's not necessarily very centered around buildings, vehicles. It's about superheroes, superpowered individuals, the individual characters. Right, Daniel Lewa?
Like, that's what makes superhero is who they are, not the building they live in or the newspaper company that they work for. It is who they are and what they wear and what they shoot out of their hands. People attach themselves emotionally to these characters, and that is the kind of thing that a collector of said figure in physical form would want to have represented, is the physicality, how they look.
Yeah, we don't want an idea of the character. It would be nice to have an accurate representation of the character. It's the same as Star Wars fans. And yeah, Marvel characters have all sorts of different adaptations throughout different adaptations of comics, movies, video games, etc. Rather than Star Wars really only has one specific look. But still, it would be nice to get high quality figures. They're getting the idea at LEGO Marvel. They're understanding that it's about the superhero. That's why we're getting more buildable figures. That's why we're getting more diorama specific sets where it's figure heavy. They're almost getting there, but still they're just missing the mark on doing the absolute bare minimum for some of these minifigures. What if I told you, Daniel Lewa, that Captain America has never received dual molded legs in LEGO form, except for his zombie variant and Sam Wilson version?
Oh, that's crazy.
Like,
Dang.
would you not imagine Captain America with big red boots going up all the way almost up to his knee? Would you not also say that Captain America is one of the most iconic Marvel superheroes in our current day and age right now? And I get it, you can't do that kind of dual molding. You may not have that budget in every single set, but just we're at the point where the decision making is a little strange. Like, we got the most crazy, most detailed zombie Captain America, but never got that treatment for the core Steve Rogers version. It seems like something is off in the decision-making pipeline or the order of things.
I think the biggest disconnect comes to LEGO's strategy. Let's talk about what their strategy currently is. They have not, because you look at their CMF, the collectible minifig series, specifically for Marvel, which are targeted to, from kids to adults to everybody. Those are like the creme de la creme, cream of the crop, best versions of these characters, like the zombie Captain America. We get the kids play sets, which, looking back as a kid, I did not care that my characters all had arm printing, side leg printing, whatever. It's like, give me a character decent enough, and that's fine. But for an adult, it is much more important, I think, to have something that you can admire, because adults are not going to be playing with these minifigures necessarily. You're going to have it on display, you're going to pose it on the building or whatever, and you want to be able to look at it. So having something that looks the best possible is most important for adults. And currently in the 18 plus adults targeted Marvel sets, they're absolutely not capturing what I think adults really want, which is the best of the best in those collectors focused sets for the minifigures. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense, because yeah, I agree. As a kid, I didn't care too much. It wasn't too hell-bent if my minifigure had arm printing, leg printing, unique molds, and no duplicate pieces within LEGO as an entirety. But as a kid, I still did appreciate unique molds and cool colors and cool looking minifigures. In the kid-specific sets where the age range on the box, maybe it's fine to not max out on detail on your minifigures. That's not the target audience or the target for that specific set. But you're right, with the 18 plus sets, we're not going to be playing with these imaginatively really that much and going zoom zoom with our Gambit and Iceman minifigures. All we could do at this point as AFOLs is whine and complain about what's missing and what's inaccurate about them, because that's all we could do at this point. The Lego X Mansion is an 18 plus marketed, adults welcome marketed, black box marketed Lego set. This is they make it very clear. They say adults welcome in the ad on Instagram, and it's also based on X-Men the 90s series specifically. So we know the specific looks of these characters. It's not just an amalgamation throughout comics. So as an adult, you're looking at this and you're like, why does Bishop have sleeves? And most importantly, why is Professor X somehow a hybrid between Michael Scott and Bruce Wayne?
Look, he works at Dunder Mifflin now. Cut him some slack.
Daniel Leva, I care more about Professor X than I do about Captain Rex, Sauron, any of those. I'm here to represent the Marvel fans. Professor X is a huge character and he's extremely dope. I care about him more than so many other minifigures that have gotten such better treatment, so that's why it's a little bit sad. The order is wrong when you're getting Speedy Gonzalez got more detail and unique molds than the entirety of the X-Men lineup.
It's so tough because they are kind of setting themselves up to fail with having the collectible minifigures, because that's a different production group, I think, as we've learned. And they produce those collectible minifigures at such a huge scale that it's profitable for them to have all that detail and extra work into those. Whereas, Lex Luthor, Professor X, and X Mansion, the amount of X Mansions they're going to produce versus a collectible minifigure is like order of magnitude fewer. Like, sure, there's some cost that way, but like, it's a plastic printed minifigure. It boggles the mind how some of these seemingly bloat the cost of these sets so much higher, and yet they still are lacking in what would be considered collector level quality.
I don't even think it has to be a collectible minifigure series, because I look at two sets that came out this year that were also 18 plus black box adults welcome: the Great Deku Tree and Barad-dûr. And both of those got such care and love into their minifigures that maybe they could have even been collectible minifigure series quality. So I don't see why just because it's Marvel, we get to skip all of that.
Deku Tree is a rough example because it only has 4 figures and is an extremely overpriced set, but those 4 figures are so immaculately done. So it's like, would they have had to compromise here on the X-Match? Like, oh, they could have given us 4 figures, $330 versus $300 for the Deku Tree. The most perfect possible Professor X ever. Or do you give 10 half-hearted figures? Kind of how it feels.
That's what we're trained to think now. A lot of people were trained to think that. We're like, oh, well, we could have had better minifigures, but it would have bloated the price.
No, you're exactly right, because they are building in such a ginormous profit margin for all of their stuff, all the product. We see how many billions and billions of dollars this company makes every year, and it's because of these astronomical profit margins. Can they cut into that a little bit? Like, oh, we're actually going to put the consumer first. We're going to actually treat the consumer. We're going to give them a better product at the same price, which cuts into our profit margins, but we have better brand loyalty, we are more respected, and our consumers are much happier instead of feeling like they're just getting kind of, quote unquote, the minimum with what we can do.
It feels like a respect thing to me, and I know it's not, but to me, sometimes I feel disrespected, and maybe that's crazy, but this is no hate to the designers of the minifigures, the graphic artist, or anything, because we know they're given certain restraints, certain budgets, certain allotments of pieces and prints. I think there's just something from all the way to the top that is weird, and it trickles down, and it feels disrespectful, not only to me because some of these characters I really love, but also just to like the original artists and creators of these characters and the creators of the TV show. It's like, why do certain IPs get more love and respect in my eyes than Marvel does a lot of the time?
That is the theme where the minifigures really should be first and foremost. It's the company. They can do whatever they want to make money, but at the end of the day, consumers' money does talk. And if adults end up being fed up with getting these kind of lesser figures and just stop buying the product, it's like, well, I want the Marvel stuff for the Marvel figures, but I don't want to be looking at this kind of Michael Scott Professor X. That doesn't give me much joy on my shelf or whatever. It's at that point that maybe they will start making changes.
That's true, because I can complain and whine about it all day long, But at the end of the day, I'm probably still going to be purchasing this Lego set for $330, and they know they could get away with it. So at the end of the day, I am the problem. Didn't want to like hate so much. I just want to like provide some like feedback from Marvel fans to express how we're feeling and really put it out there. That's really all the point of this was. But I'd also be curious to know if you agree with me, disagree with me, you think the Marvel minifigures are totally fine, especially if you're a Marvel fan, Marvel Comics fan, MCU fan. How do you feel about the current state of these minifigures? Sometimes they nail it, sometimes it's the complete opposite.
Videos like this would not be possible without viewers like you, specifically our channel members. Shout out to Mary Kay, I'm Lidme, Uncle Norm, Uncle Mike, Dr. Dan PhD, Richie Rage, Say Sad, MC Goat, and Oliver J. the Ginger Lender. You guys are all fantastic.
Thank you so much, guys, for being part of the Sakuga Squadron. Our channel member MC Goat in the Sakuga Squadron is building the Jack-o'-lantern gift with purchase and the Harry Potter Aragog with the Forbidden Forest. He says Aragog looks super creepy, and he's gonna have to work on his backlog until X-Mansion comes out. Looks like someone else is also buying X-Mansion. Let us know, MC Goat, what you think about that. Channel members, comment what you're building this week. Thanks so much for the support. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
And if you made it this far in the video, please comment below Kinnison, and you'll be recognized as a real one. Evolves into a superhero, it's just not quite there yet, like some of these figures.